My name is Holly Shen, and I am the director of the visual art program here at BAM, and I am sitting in the Natman room in front of the exhibition titled Do What I Want, Selections from the Arthur Russell Papers, which is the first ever public exhibition of the personal archive of musician, composer, and producer Arthur Russell. And I am sitting here today with Nicole Will, who is the curator of the exhibition and is going to answer a few questions about the show for us.
Arthur Russell was born Charles Arthur Russell Jr. in Oskaloosa, Iowa. In his lifetime, he only released one studio album, which is World of Echo in 1986, though he recorded and re-recorded so many different songs and so much music. We worked with Arthur's partner, Tom Lee, and some of his former collaborators. We decided to organize based on more of a conceptual timeline. You kind of get a sense that Arthur was working simultaneously throughout these collaborations on many different genres. When he came to New York, he started working immediately on the instrumentals. And instrumentals would be his most seminal experimental composition, which was from the instigation of his Buddhist teacher, Yuko no Nomura. And Yuko had asked Arthur to compose something based on his nature photography. And he had these beautiful slides, one of which we've blown up in this exhibition, of clouds. And clouds is a common symbol within Arthur's music. At the same time, also working on creating these kinds of offbeat disco tracks, which would then be produced by Arthur and his friends and then played in the Paradise Garage, the Gallery, the Loft, and around New York City. So upstairs we have his first release, which was in 1978, of Kiss Me Again.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Arthur's collaborations?
Peter Zumo was a almost everyday collaborator of Arthur's. They shared a rehearsal studio, and Peter has brought a bunch of original materials, including test pressings and flyers. Ernie Brooks was Arthur's bandmate in The Necessaries. They were on their way to a performance in, I believe it was Washington, D.C., and they were just about to reach the Holland Tunnel. And Arthur jumps out of the van right at the Holland Tunnel and is like, I'm quitting the band. And I think that just speaks to Arthur's like not wanting to be pinned down into one category. And then we thought it would be interesting to kind of juxtapose some of Arthur's critiques from different record labels, which were rejection letters, most of them, with eventually this letter that Tom received from Matt Wolf to do the documentary Wild Combination. I think the answer to the question of why didn't he get more attention while he was alive is I think potentially he was ahead of his time. Now I feel like we have, so much more of an openness to those different modes of music making within one musician, but back then I think it was hard for record labels to monetize, and I think it was a commercial issue.
Why don't you tell us what your favorite object or item in the exhibition is?
Two photographs that were brought in by Tom Lee of him and Arthur. It's a split shot. One is of Tom Lee with his arm extended, and one is of Arthur with Tom's hand on his chest. And so for me, it's like each of them are an individual, but they're both connected in this really beautiful and powerful way. It's been 25 years, and Tom has been such an advocate of Arthur's music and his life, and he's created such an access that is undeniable. I mean, that's why we are doing the show, so a viewer can get a real sense of all the different ways in which Arthur was working.